Last up tonight, a fight that happened a month or so ago between Bryan and Gary Jacobs. Bryan was defending his British welterweight title against the former Commonwealth and WBC international welterweight champion Jacobs. Victory for Bryan would have brought him a Lonsdale belt. Never a bad addition to the mantelpiece, that one. But Jacobs is a vastly experienced boxer who looked like he was on his way to a world title shot a couple of years back before having those disastrous losses to James Buddy McGirt, himself now world champion, and Donovan Boucher, still the Commonwealth champion. He also had that defeat to Mickey Hughes when he attempted to come back in 1990. Let's look at the stats. There you go, Bryan, always a man with a spectacular haircut, 33 fights, 24 wins, 6 knockouts, 8 losses and a draw. Gary Jacobs, 26, 33 fights, 29 wins, 16 knockouts, 4 losses. Very experienced guy. So let's have a look at this contest now. Your commentators once again, Ian Dark.
Welcome to the Scottish Exhibition Centre in Glasgow. Big local support here for Gary Jacobs, the Glasgow boy who was once voted Young Boxer of the Year, but his career took quite a downturn after that, and he's been trying to re-establish himself as a big name. Challenging now for the British welterweight title held by Bryan there on the right of your picture from Nottingham. Referee is Mickey Van from Leeds. Mickey Duff in the Jacobs corner. And Bryan, who feels that so far he hasn't got the recognition that he's really deserved. Bryan, as you can see, and Jacobs, both southpaws. Bryan, who won this title against the aging Kirkland Lang, close points decision that between the two Nottingham boxers, and he's had a defence of the title since then, beating Mickey Hughes in 3 rounds. And Hughes, incidentally, flattened Gary Jacobs in 8. If form lines like that mean anything, and they sometimes don't. Gary Jacobs in the blue trunks. Referee wanting a little word with them. Good punches those from Bryan. Combination. Taller man, Bryan, longer reach. That's a good right that from Jacobs. Short, whip, little right hook. Landing with the right hand, and of course Jacobs' punch is the one that gets the bigger cheer from this extremely partisan crowd. When you're fighting away in Glasgow against a hometown boy, you certainly know it, as all Jim Watt's opponents used to find out. They generate a great atmosphere here. That's another good little right from Jacobs. It's worked well for him in this first round. Without taking anything away from Bryan in winning this British welterweight title, he probably was meeting Kirkland Lang at the right time, and Jacobs has him down. What a start for Jacobs, and the referee is saying that that is just a slip. It'll be interesting to see that again. Now Mickey Van knows what he's doing. Good opening round here. Jacobs getting through with some good body shots this time. It's a fine opening session for Gary Jacobs. Now then, here's that incident again. There was a right hand in there from Jacobs, and I think he was a little bit unlucky that Mickey Van saw that as a slip. certainly seemed to be a punch, didn't it? 8th round here now. Jacobs with his back to us in the blue trunks. Jacobs, the former Commonwealth champion, and he used to hold the WBC international title. That's for boxers ranked between numbers 11 and 30 in the world. Won that in Las Vegas. A couple of decent headshots in there from Bryan. The fight that really set Gary Jacobs' career back was when he went to America and took on James Buddy McGirt, who's now the WBC welterweight champion and looks a very fine champion indeed. And he outpointed Jacobs, and I think in retrospect all concerned will agree that probably wasn't the smartest fight to take. But I think it would give a big boost to Jacobs' confidence if he could lift this British title tonight in front of his home fans. After a quite spectacular start to his career, he's had to work hard these last couple of years. He's got a bit of a cut by the right eye, Jacobs. Oh, that's a good right to the body from Jacobs, and again. Cut doesn't look too bad at the moment, but it's a worry for him. Bryan, who's 24, Jacobs 2 years older. Incidentally, the pair of them met in a title eliminator in 1988, and Jacobs won on points. So this is a rematch 4 years on. Bit more blood around that right eye now of Jacobs. Good work again from Jacobs. Right to the body, and then the short little right cross to the head as well. Coming towards the end of the 8th round here now. And he gets a slap on the backside from Denny Mancini on his way out for round 11. This is a tight fight here for the British welterweight title. Bryan holds the championship at the moment, but will he still have it in about 7 minutes' time? Jacobs knows, and Bryan knows as well, that these last 2 rounds could well decide this. It's that close. Pressure from Jacobs. Some of those mauls a little untidy. We're at the stage of the fight now, the 11th round, where you can really throw away the form book. It's about who wants it most now. Who can dig the deepest? Bryan going for the left uppercut, scored a couple of good rights there by Jacobs. They could be important punches for him. Another left there. He's throwing more leather in this round, Jacobs. He's showing great heart, and although the crowd can't get into the ring with you, I would suspect at this stage they're lifting him for one final effort. Jacobs certainly started the fight very well, but Bryan has clawed his way back into it to leave the decision still in the balance at this late stage. Again, good punches from Jacobs. 2 little hooks to the head this time. For my money, he's done the better work in this 11th round. Gary Jacobs with 16 inside the distance wins on his record so far. Bryan with only 6. He's certainly not a big puncher, Bryan. Usually has to do it the long way round, and that's the way it's proving here tonight. Both of them good, solid pros. And again, Jacobs with that short little right cross. And this is a good little rally, though, from Bryan at the end of the round, and he needs it. Both of them here showing tremendous heart and courage. And it's at the stage now where the strength is beginning to sap away. Coming into the last round, they touch gloves and away they go. 3 minutes left. British welterweight championship on the line, held in recent times by the likes of Kirkland Lang and Colin Jones, and going back a bit further, that superb boxer Howard Winston. The classic 10.5 stone division. And the crowd here in Glasgow have thoroughly enjoyed this one. It's close-ish, but I have Jacobs in front now at this stage. Bryan needs a good last round for certain. Bryan, who in his career has beaten good men like Darren Dyer, Mickey Hughes, Lloyd Christie, Damien Denny. But is he going to add Gary Jacobs to this list here? He's throwing everything in now. He knows his status as British welterweight champion depends on him having a big final session. Oh, that's a good right sunk into the body by Jacobs there. Jacobs not looking quite so sharp in this last round as he did in the 11th. Gets in with a right. That was a decent shot, though. That's better from Jacobs. And they maul and lean on. The seconds are ticking away now. It'll be referee Mickey Van's decision. Understandably, just getting a bit untidy. Both of them trying to take the referee's eye in this last round. Another good little right cross from Jacobs. An absorbing battle this for the British welterweight championship. Has Gary Jacobs, the man voted by the boxing writers as Young Boxer of the Year 2 or 3 years back, has he done enough to put himself back on the rails by winning the British title, or has Bryan held on to it? And the decision is that Jacobs has got it. And the crowd are off their seats at that. And hugs for Mickey Duff and for Gary Jacobs and Denny Mancini in the corner. Jacobs, who's had his down period certainly in the last couple of years, is back with a very important win.
Ladies and gentlemen, 117 points. Gary Jacobs, 118 and a half points. The new welterweight champion of Great Britain, Gary Jacobs.
Well, the referee's scorecard reveals that he gave that to Jacobs by a 3-round margin. 118 and a half to 117, and Gary Jacobs, on a famous night for him, takes the British welterweight championship, and Bryan gets the applause, but will go back to Nottingham without the title.
To present the championship belt.
Well, they're enjoying this night here. They paid their money hoping to see Jacobs become British champion, and that is exactly what has happened, and I think it's fair to say he deserved it.
Well, Gary Jacobs certainly did deserve the victory by 3 rounds from what we saw, but do you think Bryan can come back?
I think he can. He's a good boy, to coin a phrase. He is. He's had adversity before. He's had a tough career. He's had his knockdowns before, and he's come back. And he's the sort of character, he's a bubbly character. I think he can definitely come back from that.
Good character. If he doesn't, in the ring, he doesn't really set the world alight, does he?
No, I mean, but he can bring a good performance. He can punch, and he's a southpaw. He's difficult to fight, and he can do it. I think I was at that fight, and I think he was just maybe a little bit outhyped by the crowd and all that. I mean, Jacob seemed to be willed on to win. I mean, it was packed, and it was all Scots, and they were all for Jacobs. Yeah. And he just seemed to want it that little bit more. It
was interesting, the light of what we said earlier about southpaws, that we had a fight with 2 southpaws.
Yeah, so that just messed it all up, didn't it?
like a couple of octopi, aren't they? Yeah. Sort of all arms and all legs.
So I imagine, I've never actually asked a southpaw what he feels fighting a southpaw.
Well, if we get one, we'll have to ask.
Yeah, we will.
What would you do? Do you think Jacobs is now ready to get back into the fray again? A couple of years back, he was more or less on his way at a title shot. After that, would you think he should sort of try again?
Certainly. He was, I mean, a couple of years ago, he was right there, and they were expecting big things of him, and he just didn't live up to it. I think maybe he was pushed in. He had a tough fight with Buddy McGirt, which, he never really come back from that. That was a tough one for him, and, maybe he needed something a little easier, but, I mean, that's all gone now. But I think, he's proved he can come back from that. He's won the British title. Now he just needs to ease into it. I mean, not to jump straight for a big opponent, just to ease up in class, and just take it like that. But he can do better things. He's a good opponent, good fighter.
I always thought a couple of years back when he was sort of fighting the George Collinses and that, he was a little bit limited.
It does look, I mean, even on that performance, he still looks a bit limited, but, I don't know how far he can go. I'm not saying he can go to world title level, but he's good, and if he keeps trying to learn, he's obviously keen enough, because he's come back from the defeats to go on to win the British title. So he's keen, and, if you're keen and you work hard, you can do anything.
Well, he deserves his shot. Anyway, the last knockout for you to see tonight features Larry Holmes, who will be hoping he can do to Evander Holyfield on June the 19th what he did to Marvis Frazier back in 1983.
A blockbuster right, and Frazier goes strong.